In this lecture, I will give introduction to databases and how we can use them in Java programs. So I'll give you the general idea about the topic. For explanation, I have taken a diagram. So let me explain you the diagram first. See, this is hard disk drive. That is our storage, computer's storage. And this is RAM, random access memory or main memory where our programs run. And this is the CPU. CPU will execute the programs. We know very well about this one. And this hard disk will contain the programs as well as the data files. Like here, you can see that Java program is there. So that program file is already there inside hard disk. That is class file is there in the hard disk. I'm not showing it here in the diagram. Programs or the data will be transferred from hard disk to the main memory or main memory to the hard disk. So actual running area of a program is main memory, RAM. Alright, so this hard disk is used as storage, permanent storage. Now let us talk about file versus database. So first of all, I will explain about files. See, in the previous sections, we have learned how a Java program can store the data in a file. We have learned this in java.io package. Java.io package. If you have not done it, please first complete that package and come back to this section. There is a section on java.io package. There we have learned how a Java program can access files. That is file input streams and file output streams. And using random access file, Java program can access the data in the file. Means it can save the data, store the data, as well as retrieve the data. Now, the next important thing is how the data is stored in a file. In what format, in what form the data is stored. So Java program can store the data as it like in a file, in any format, in any form. And the same program can read the file. So how the data is organized in a file, it all depends on Java program. So who writes Java program? Programmer will write a Java program. So it is the responsibility of a programmer how to organize the data in a file and how to retrieve it. Like suppose, for example, you are storing student's information. You are storing student information like his name, roll number, phone number, branch, all those things. So in which order you have stored them, in the same order you can retrieve them. Suppose you have written first roll number, but you are reading a name. So you will be getting a roll number. That is not a name. So that's what. All this complexity has to be dealt with a Java program, how the data is organized in a file. So just a brief idea I have given you. So if you are using files in your Java program for organizing large size data, then it becomes very difficult to organize the data in the form of files. So then there is another solution for organizing the data, that is nothing but a database. So here in the diagram, I am showing database here in RAM because database is also a program. No doubt the program will be available on hard disk and it runs inside RAM. So database is also a program. Database is a program which deals with storing and organizing the data in a permanent storage like hard disk. We define the database like this. Database is a collection of interrelated data permanently stored on the disk, and it may contain the programs for accessing the data. So how these database programs organize the data? They organize the data in a tabular form. They form the table. So this is a student table. Let us say this is a student table. Student roll number and student name, student address and student branch. So this is a record of a student. So it will contain the records of student. Then let us say this is a departments table. So this will contain the information about a department, all the departments in a college. So this is for student. And there is a faculty table. So this contains the information about all the faculties. So like this, database is organized in the form of tables. And the tables may have relationship with other tables. Like student is related to department and the faculty is also related to department. So there are relationship in between the tables. I will discuss this part more in detail. So the point that we have to understand here is that data is organized in the form of tables, and the tables may have relationship with other tables. This is how databases will organize the data on the disk. So this storage, what I am showing you, assume that this is nothing but having collection of tables. So as a Java programmer, we don't have to worry how this data is stored in the form of table. Just we say store the data, it will get stored. And when we want to retrieve the data, databases support a language called as SQL, that is Structured Query Language. Using this language, we can easily retrieve the data. So we don't have to worry how the data is stored in the disk. Just you store it in the form of a table, and organizing the data in the form of a table is done by a database program. And when you want to retrieve anything, just you write a query and you can retrieve the data. So you have to learn SQL for retrieving the data from databases. So this is about databases. Databases store the data in the form of tables and they support SQL language. Now let us get a broader picture of this topic. I will clear off few things from here and I will explain. So let us summarize all the things that we have learned. See, using Java program, we can store the data in the files, but it will be difficult when it comes to very large size data. So we use files for small size data. For a very large size data, we prefer using database. So database programs will manage the data on the disk. Then how Java program can access this data? It will not access it directly. It will access it with the help of database program. So it will communicate with the database program and it will respond it back to the Java program. So this is nothing but Java database connectivity. Java database connectivity, JDBC. So JDBC comes into picture here. That means Java programs are accessing database by communicating with database programs. And we have already learned what are databases, how they store the data and all, right? So I just gave you the introduction. So in a Java program, we have two options. Now, from a Java program, we can store and retrieve the data from files as well as from the database. So that is called as JDBC. Connecting to databases is JDBC. So this is what we are going to learn further in this section. All right. So this is sufficient for introduction. Now, what are these database programs? So there are some famous database programs that are known database programs. The most famous one is Oracle, then MySQL. This is also owned by Oracle now, and Microsoft SQL Server is there. SQL Server. All these are paid databases. You have to take a license for using these products. And there is one more database that is free database, that is SQLite. So this one we will be using it in our programs. So once you learn how to access one of the database, it is similar for all other with some minor changes. So I will explain you what those changes are. So that's all in this lecture. We have got the introduction to database and files versus database. The main topic was files versus database. All right. So let us learn more things in coming lectures.